Colleagues of the private sector, colleagues of the OECS Commission, members of the media and participants in this dialogue. It is a distinct pleasure to engage, albeit virtually, with the private sector community of the OECS to discuss and to envision the strategic role of the business sector in the economic development and social progress of our integration project and the economic union. In undertaking these country consultations, we are not coming empty-handed, but with very specific ideas and proposals for meaningful interrogation and discussion with the business sector, so that the economic union is established on a firm foundation. A prerequisite for a viable economic union is inclusion, which starts with engagement with all sectors, a process of listening and the exchange of ideas and opinions to shape a consensual future. So the Commission is facilitating this process with the generous support of the European Union, to whom we extend our deepest appreciation. The broad discussions on the state of business in the OECS and what is needed to create a vibrant and prosperous business sector will necessarily frame and influence what the role, structure, and functioning of the OECS Business Council should be. The revitalization of the OECS Business Council is predicated on 4 proposed strategic pillars. 1, to help actualize the OECS Economic Union. Secondly, to catalyze inclusive economic growth in the OECS. Thirdly, to market the OECS private sector to the world. And fourthly, to build capacity and resilience in the OECS private sector. These proposed pillars are open to discussion and strengthening in these consultations. Allow me to contribute some ideas on the role of an entity such as a business council in the context of small island states such as ours. And context is important because it establishes what is different and special to the specific environment in which we function. That differentiation is often what determines success or failure, and what explains why ready-made or generalized solutions are not always applicable. What is the role of a regional business council in small states? In the context of a regional integration effort among small states, an RBC plays a pivotal role in nurturing, developing, and supporting businesses, as well as in fostering economic development within the region. The exact role may vary depending on the specific mission and objectives of the Council, as well as the unique challenges and opportunities present within the state or region. Essentially, the OECS Business Council is about the indigenous private sector taking responsibility for its own development and seizing the opportunities created by the economic union to contribute to national and regional development. Such expectations carry several critical assumptions, and these are that the private sector is organized with representational legitimacy to speak authoritatively on matters affecting it, and to propose solutions that not only enable the ease of doing business, but also advance national and regional economic progress. It requires also a willingness and being able to invest in productive economic activity and be open to more diversified business than an over-reliance on the distributive sector. This includes the exercise of corporate social responsibility in areas that bring business expertise to critical social imperatives such as poverty elimination. When too much is expected of government to address issues like this, the solutions will necessarily be welfarist. So in the example of poverty reduction and elimination, the solutions are generally not sustainable because they are shaped by political imperatives rather than sustainability mindsets. We need to flip the script and think conceptually and programmatically about how we build prosperity rather than how we reduce poverty. Then there needs to be a willingness to venture into productive business ventures, be willing to take risk and to be entrepreneurial and growth focused. What then are some of the general roles that the OECS Business Council can play? The areas being proposed here are not definitive, but illustrative, and are being presented to stimulate your own thinking about the level of dynamism that our governments would welcome from you. These roles can cover several domains that include economic development, support to local business, policy advocacy, market expansion and trade, innovation and technology, workforce development, sustainability, and crisis management. Let's quickly examine some specific components of each of these domains. Economic development, involving, for example, facilitation of growth by advocating for and establishing business-friendly policies and environments. And you are the best placed persons to do that advocacy. Investment attraction, working to attract both local and foreign investments to enhance the economic vitality of the region. In infrastructural development, advocating for, contributing to, and even investing in the development of essential infrastructures like transportation, utilities, and digital networks. When we look at support to local businesses, what does that involve? Business assistance, providing support services to local businesses, including training, mentoring, and consulting to help them grow and succeed. Helping to ensure access to resources, facilitating access to resources such as financial options, technological advancements, and specialized knowledge, which are critical for business development. That support to local businesses can also involve networking opportunities by organizing events and forums that provide networking opportunities for businesses to connect with potential partners, clients, and resources. On the policy advocacy front, to help influence policy by being a voice for the business community, engaging with governmental bodies to influence policies and regulations that affect business. And also, on the legal and regulatory front, helping businesses to navigate, understand, and comply with local, regional, and national laws and regulations. Then there's the issue of the area of market expansion and trade. Marketing access, aiding businesses in exploring and penetrating new markets, both within and outside the region. And then there's trade facilitation, to promote and facilitate trade activities, creating platforms where businesses can showcase their products and services. In the arena of innovation and technology, promoting and encouraging innovation among businesses through incentives, competitions, and supporting innovative startups. And then technological advancement by helping businesses adopt new technologies and digital solutions to improve their operations and competitiveness. In the area of workforce development, skills development, offering programs that enhance the skills of the workforce, aligning them with industry needs, working with the education sector, for example, to have work placements for students so that they are exposed very early on to best business practices and the world of employment. And then employment creation, obviously, through various initiatives that contribute to creating employment opportunities within the region. On the sustainability front, sustainability practices, advocating for implementing and assisting businesses in adopting sustainable and environmentally friendly practices. Community development, ensuring that business growth is aligned with community development and contributes to the overall well-being of the region. And lastly, in crisis management, there's the issue of risk management, helping businesses to understand and mitigate various risks, including financial, operational, and market-related. And critically, in our context, disaster response. Coordinate with businesses and government agencies for effective response and recovery before, during, and after crises such as natural disasters or economic downturns. In summary, a regional business council can be instrumental in shaping the economic trajectory of a region, particularly in small states, by providing robust support to businesses and coordinating efforts towards sustainable economic development. Let me reiterate that the roles outlined earlier are illustrative of the potential and the possibilities. They are not prescriptive of the work of the OBC. They do, however, represent an opportunity for deep strategic reflection in each national private sector space. At the risk of, but with the necessary intention of being provocative in urging this questioning, some of the questions you may need to think about include: what is the optimal shape of private sector representation in my national arena? What structures are most effective mechanisms of representation in my context? Secondly, how effective are our chambers of commerce? How do they articulate with sector-specific associations, such as we have in some countries in manufacturing, in tourism, in small business, etc.? How do these articulate? And how does the chamber, assumingly as the apex of the private sector initiative, fit into this? Then how best can they articulate with a regional structure such as the OBC? Scale and size matter, especially in open economies that are particularly vulnerable to external shocks, and in a global environment that is absolutely insensitive to these challenges in matters of trade preference and protection of national industries. Many of these perspectives have been incorporated in the consultancy undertaken that specifically speaks to the opportunities for the OECS Business Council. You will note that the 4 pillars proposed by Dr. Perville that I mentioned earlier succinctly cover the main elements of the detailed opportunities that I just discussed. And to remind you, these 4 pillars are helping to realize the OECS Economic Union, catalyzing inclusive economic growth in the OECS, thirdly, market the OECS private sector to the world, and lastly, build capacity and resilience in the OECS private sector. These 4 pillars are being proposed as the immediate agenda for the OBC. Makes it easier for us to begin this process of articulating the private sector to the broader socioeconomic agenda and to the global commitments of the Sustainable Development Goals. Because at the end of the day, sustainable progress and prosperity in small states can never be achieved if all social actors of government, private sector, and civil society do not define some common purpose. In conclusion, the revitalization of the OBC presents a unique opportunity at this time of disruption and uncertainty to build a new multi-partner model of regional economic cooperation. We have high expectations that the OECS Business Council will demonstrate that when diverse islands and economies come together with a shared purpose, we can achieve unparalleled success. It is not just about business. It is also about the heart, the soul, and the future of our OECS within the wider Caribbean region. Let us continue to support, uplift, and champion the Council's efforts, for in its success lies the blueprint for a more integrated, prosperous, and resilient OECS. As we reflect on the transformative potential of the OECS Business Council, let's not merely be passive observers. The Council's vision of regional development is a call to action for each of us, entrepreneurs, policymakers, and citizens alike. Together, harnessing the potential of the Council, we can ignite the flames of innovation, unity, and progress, ensuring that the OECS region not only survives, but thrives in the global arena. I thank you.